Jetzt sind wir dran. Komm mal bitte rein, komm rein. Wir fangen jetzt an mit unserem Programm. Wow, meine Stimme ist jetzt dreiviertel weg. Ein langer Tag gestern. Unser erster Gast ist nicht nur ein Schauspieler, sondern auch ein Synchronsprecher. Der hat viele Videogame-Serien drinnen. Ich muss immer auf der Liste schauen. Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty. Aber er ist wahrscheinlich am bekanntesten aus Deucalion von der Serie Teen Wolf. Meine Damen und Herren, Mr. Gideon Emery. Weil wir sind so wenig, wir müssen extra laut sein. Lauter jetzt! Very good.
Thanks, guys.
Sehr schön.
You made up for the fact that there's only 7 people out there, and you made it sound like a crowd. So
It's
exactly. No, I know.
It is early.
That's what I was saying. It's like
Yeah,
I
we
did
were
a play years ago, and it was really fun. It was a one-man play as well. And then I had one slot was the festival had given me, which was like 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Same thing. It's like, who's gonna be here? And yeah. But you gotta do it. The show must go on. So,
What was the play?
The play was called Thin Man Talking, and it was kind
That
of.
makes sense.
It was like it's like stand-up comedy with a bit of a cappella singing mixed in and such. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Where was that then?
This was at the Grahamstown Film Festival in South Africa.
Okay. How long? Because you weren't born in South Africa, but you grew up in South Africa.
Yeah, I grew up between the UK and South Africa, mainly South Africa.
And how long were you there?
27 years. Yeah. I lived in South Africa for the same amount of time that Nelson Mandela was incarcerated. But my life was very different because I'm a white guy. But no, I mean, it's strangely enough the same years.
It's just, and it, for me, it's an interesting place because then I studied English and I studied history, and my senior seminar was apartheid in South Africa, so something like that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, and
for them,
really
maybe
weird.
not so much, but for me,
but
totally.
I mean, and really weird growing up there as a kid during apartheid, you know, and seeing, obviously, witnessing the injustice and the whole system, you know, set up to keep, you know, a whole race of people down, you know. Yeah. Anyway, there's
Well, and I mean,
ramifications for that.
we can run with that a little bit because, you know, growing up like that shapes your worldview. And here at Proud Nerd, it's of course it's supposed to, you know, we're hoping to have a safe space and be inclusive and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I would then ask you, what does pride mean to you?
I think pride to me means you get to be who you are. You're your own unique self. You know, you get to love who you want, and honestly, if people don't agree with your lifestyle, then don't live that lifestyle. That's your choice as an individual, you know? But you don't get to impose upon other people how they should live their life, you know? If they're not directly affecting you, you know? But it's really tough when, you know, people and organizations and governments, you know, start saying, oh no, you say, yeah, no, you should be living this way, you should be observing, you know, a certain religion, or, you know, practicing your own faith this way, or, you know, it's vile. It's absolutely vile and disgusting, you know, and we're obviously seeing that globally. But it's, yeah.
It's something where, for lack of a better word, you just want to say, fuck off.
Yeah, you know,
Just
I mean,
leave it alone, whatever.
I don't understand, because there's like the most basic quality we have as humans is empathy, you know, and love, and which is why like everyone can sort of see a baby and go, oh, you know, because it hits this before you can't sort of censor it, you know, and it's we get this horrible thing of us versus them, or you know, political parties which you know, then want to label something because they're failing in some way to deliver to everybody, and then go like, oh no, get angry at them, you know, and you see that all the time, and it's unfortunate when people believe that message, you know. But I mean, I heard, you know, it's like, fuck. Anyways, I don't want to get in the whole
Faith,
but
it's a hot topic today because today's election day here in Germany, and so we're a lot of anxiety today. So hopefully everybody voted before they got here. Fingers crossed, thumbs pressed. Team of X. let's bring it back to something nicer, I guess. You've done stage work.
Yeah.
You've done screen work, so film and TV. You've done voiceover work. What are the similarities between the three, and what are the differences? Because I feel like they're three very distinct.
I think we did. Yeah, I think we sort of touched on this yesterday. But I think like with voiceover, the freedom is you get to play a bigger range of characters, whereas with on camera and on stage, to a slightly lesser extent, it's determined by how you look. So. Like for me, for example, in LA, and I worked there for many years, because I have a charactery face, that means I'm playing the villain, and because I have a foreign accent, that means kind of the same thing. So you sort of fall into that pigeonhole a little bit, which is a little frustrating because I'd like to, I know I can play a bunch of different roles, but it's fun to play a bad guy, but it gets a little old, and I'm not in a position where I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just finance my own feature or something like that. But
because you said yesterday that you wanted to get back into doing some comedy stuff.
Well, no, I mean just to mix it up.
Just to mix it up,
yeah, and it's quite funny because I sort of lament not doing a certain thing for a while, and then when I haven't done it for a while, or when I do more of one thing, then I'm like, oh, but I missed this thing too. So I think it's part of also what drove me to become an actor, is that I love to do different things. So I love like a new job, and I don't like hunting for a new job, but I love the challenge of working on something new, or bringing a different character to life, and bringing helping tell a story. Voiceover is great because you have a bigger range of stuff you can do, but then you're also it's less of a collaborative process. Video games especially, like I've done nearly 180 video games, and only one of those did I work with other actors at the same time. So the rest of the time you're just in a booth, you're being directed by a director, and you might have someone from the game developers there. But it is just you reading, pages of your side of a conversation, your side of a scene, your dialogue, and you're lucky occasionally if they happen to have recorded the other actor's part before yours, then they might be able to have those files on hand and then play you in with, the cue, for your line. But most of the time they don't, and so you're sort of just, it's really weird if you think of the conversations you guys have with other people during this weekend. Imagine just doing your side of every conversation you had, and just sitting, instead of sitting in your closet, or standing in your closet in front of a microphone and just saying your lines. It's kind of weird, right? So it's a little more, there is something that you lose by not obviously having this back and forth, where it has that tangible thing. And obviously with the rise of AI in voice and stuff, and just creation and art in general, we're obviously going to lose something, even as these things sound really good and lifelike, there is obviously an essence of something that's lost, which is a bit sad.
And stage? How does stage fit in?
Stage, look, I haven't done theatre in a while, but the closest thing to theatre, and almost to a total performance medium, is motion capture to me. Because motion capture is like theatre in the round, and you're in just a volume of space. So whereas with on camera, you'll shoot a wide shot, a master, do the whole scene, and then you'll come in for coverage, get a close-up of you, close-up of me, back and forth, and we'll sort of shoot everything this way and shoot everything this way. And you have the ability to sort of cut between takes, and then cut from that establishing shot into the master, back to a two-shot, then back to me close, then back to you for a reaction. And those can all be separate takes that they've cut together. for that one scene, as you all know. But in motion capture, because it's prohibitively expensive to splice cuts, separate takes together, what you have to do is they want one take which goes from beginning to end of the scene where everybody is great. And if you're obviously working with professional actors, it seems like it shouldn't be that hard, but it is almost like theater. Like, it's like if somebody drops a line and stumbles, oh, I'm sorry guys, it's like we all have to go back to the beginning, you know? So it's almost like you're running a race, and like everyone's doing great, and then somebody stumbles, everyone has to start the race from the beginning and do it again. So it is challenging, and it's fun because of that. And then also you're in a bodysuit, which is hot. You've got, you know, equipment on you with like a, you know, disc drive and, you know, radio stuff, and you've got multiple mics, and you've got a helmet camera, which is like cranked down, because if you turn your head, it's got a camera pointed at you, and if you turn your head and it's not tight enough, it's going to move, and then that data is gone. So you end up with like sort of a migraine at the end of the first hour or two. But it is also wonderful at the same time, because it's a great acting challenge, you know, and you're working with other actors. Yeah.
Very good. Wie immer, wenn ihr habt eine Frage, einfach Hände hoch. Janine kommt durch mit dem Mikro. Bitteschön. Piratende.
Sorry, this might sound a bit niche, but we personally know you from Tangled the series. And
oh wow, Tangled, yeah. Gosh, okay, yeah. I thought you said Tango for a minute.
Oh no, yeah, Tangled's what's it called, the Tangled Adventure or something? Yeah. Do you remember doing that? And could you, like, I would imagine that probably if you do a lot of voiceover work, it might blend together after a while. Yeah. But could you elaborate a bit on what that experience was like?
They had a lot of like name actors working on that. You know, I didn't get to meet any, unfortunately. I was like excited because Danny Trejo was like called. He was like after me or whatever, and I sort of saw him sort of coming in as I was leaving. I was like, oh, I'd like to have a conversation with him. It was fun, you know. I got to sort of play around and just come up with a couple of characters. Nothing super exciting. I do remember actually that my voice was toast when I went in to do the one character or whatever. And I mean, you can hear it in the production. It's like, "I'll be back, I'll get you," or something. It was really raspy, probably from like a video game like the day before. No, but it was very much like, kind of like, I mean, they wanted to make it gravelly, but I also had like blown my voice out a little bit too. That's another thing, a side thing from what you were saying and connected to what you were asking about the different mediums. It's like I worked on the show Shameless for a couple episodes, and I was a philosophy professor, so I was actually very like regular character, not some bad guy. And the day before, I'd had a 4-hour video game voice session, which is the standard amount of time in LA. But it was all like a military type projected stuff, like fire in the hole, you know, like this. And you just, if it's just you as well, it's not like a film set where it's like, oh, okay, you do a couple takes, then it's the other people, then you go break for lunch, then they got to turn the camera around. There's a lot of sitting around when you're on a film or a TV set. Like VO, you're just doing it. And then if you're not working with another actor, you're going to blow through like 160 lines or whatever. Anyway, long story short, my voice was messed. So then when I got to Shameless, and it was like my second episode or something, and you have, typically in TV, you have like a different director each episode, or they direct a couple episodes, so they're also like guests, and I was like a recurring guest star. And I'm panicked, because I knew my voice was rough going to bed at night. I'm like drinking honey and lemon and ginger and stuff. When I wake up in the morning, and it's like my voice is like this. I really don't have hardly any voice at all. I'm like, I'm gonna be fired. I am so messed, and I can't, what am I gonna do? I've gotta be on set in like 2 hours. I'm not gonna call them and go like, hey guys, so I don't have a voice. I hope that's okay. You know, it's like, I obviously can't do that, right? I'm just gonna have to go and somehow make it work. Anyway, long story short, I get to set, and I meet the director, and they're like, hey, this is, let's say Jeremy, Gideon, hi. I'm like, I'm really sorry. My
voice is really messed. Hopefully we can make it work.
And he's like, okay. Like, no, not really. And then he's like, now he's panicking, right? Because he's like, oh, shoot. But somehow, thank the heavens, the scene was me and I'm in the lecture hall, I'm teaching, and Lip comes in and he's late. And he's like, pop, 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 pop on the door, and opens the door, and I come to the door, and I'm like, he's late for the exam, he's not going to take the exam or whatever, because I was like, hey. But my voice, fortunately, could be hushed, right? So I was like, I'm sorry, we can't, whatever. So I totally played, so I was saved. None of this is interesting, I can see from your faces, but it's interesting how working on the different, like, mediums and sort of bouncing back and forth, that sometimes you can shoot yourself in the foot a little bit, yeah. Because also I think people also don't realize, like, oh, okay, well, what, just do it, you're getting paid, just shout if I need you to shout. But it's like, then tomorrow I might be able to speak, and if I can't speak, I can't do my job. It's like I don't just suddenly become a mime. I was also blessed to have work 2 days in a row though as well, so.
Bravo. Wir haben Zeit für noch eine Frage. Haben wir noch welche? Dann bitte.
Okay, so from an acting perspective, what is your favorite kind of project between theatre and voice work, and of course film and TV shows?
I think my favorite kind of project is something where the role excites me. So I think it matters less to me these days. I mean, it's a good question. It matters less to me the medium. I mean, some projects tend to pay better than others. You know, if you're working on a TV show for a period of time, you're going to get more money than you would working on a movie, and definitely more money than you would doing voiceover. But I just want to work on interesting projects, and since I became a dad, so much feedback. Like, I don't want to do like creepy bad guys. You know, I don't want to play these like horrible characters anymore. You know, I've done so much of that, and I'm also like conscious of what I'm putting out, unless it really serves the purpose where you know it's part of the story, and you know, some, I don't know, like sort of justice or, you know, resolution is seen, but stuff where you can kind of sink your teeth into a character, you know, yeah, and something where there's like a journey, like an evolution, as opposed to just a one note, yeah.
Good question, thank you.
Like that note.
That fits, yeah.
Yeah, that note's better than that.
No, that is. Gideon, thank you for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you, and thanks, it sort of filled up nicely towards the end, and now we'll say auf Wiedersehen. But thanks everybody who did come, and I appreciate it. Thanks for the questions.
And we will see you later at bow shooting tournament, correct?
Do they call it bow shooting?
I don't know.
Archery, maybe?
Archery. I don't know. Bogenschießen, bow shooting. I don't know.
Bow shooting. Tonight on a brand new episode of Bow Shooting.
I can speak of that.
That sounds good.
Sure, why not? All right.
I have tried archery one time, also at a convention. That's the only other time I've done it. So I've fired, I think, 2 arrows in my life, but the third will be here.
Huzzah! Then we will see
Thanks,
you
guys. Thank you.
later. Gideon Emery, meine Damen und Herren. Cheers.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you, sir.